Well, good evening, Pie Pals. Holy Smoking Pie Padre, here with you on Halloween. Halloween Eve, actually. Is that a little bit better? A little frightening, I know. But not to worry. There's always something a little bit more frightening. Shall I show you? Ha ha! Happy Halloween! Well, good evening there, Pie Pals. So, this is the Halloween edition of HSPP. Holy Smoking Pie Padre. HSPP. Okay. Let's see what we got here. We got some, the natives are restless tonight, that's for sure. I always hate, I guess I forgot to pay the electric bill. Oh well. I think that's some people who are kind of laughing at the people that kind of thought that this indictment was going to lead to the downfall of one Donald J. Trump. Remains to be seen, sports pals, pipe pals, but it looks like the Russian collusion story is just a dog that just won't hunt. That's all I'm going to say. It's actually just a very bad Halloween joke. At the end, that's all it's probably ever going to be. Okay, so I'm here tonight on the 30th of October, and I'm smoking my Halloweeny pipe, my October pipe. Yeah, look at that. I love this thing. It's a Robert Burns Macaulay pipe, and I just love it. And in it, I'm smoking some absolutely delicious McBaron's plum cake, don't you know? A perfect combination on a Halloween or Halloween Eve video. And let's see, I got my little, is that? I guess that's as tall as it goes. I'm using my Snowball Blue mic. And so I thought I'd make a little Halloween video. I have to be honest with you, it's about 11 o'clock at night, and I'm really kind of, I'm more of a late night owl kind of a person. I've always been kind of somebody that finds my creativity, late at night, early in the morning. I don't know why that is. When it's daytime and I've got other things to do, I have to be kind of in a frame of mind that I can just kind of focus on that creative process. So that's what we're doing tonight. Just a simple little Halloween video for you all. Okay, so what would be an appropriate Halloween topic to talk about? Let me see what kind of little special effects I can play here. Let's see, we've got, we can do a little bit more music, I think. Kind of a little more deep sci-fi, kind of like, you're on the ghost ship, spaceship. You're kind of going through space, and you don't know what's out there except the dark, immense immensity of nothingness. Right. Okay. And let's see, you got the classic little kind of, I think that's Hillary Clinton. Yeah. That's a Hillary Clinton meme there, I think. Okay, let's try that again. That's Hillary. She's making her book tour. There she goes. All right. Okay. Kind of like a space ghost. That's kind of like that one. There's space ghost. What's this one here? Oh, I guess I didn't feed Elsie today. She's upset with me. My dear little kitty cat. Okay, so as you can probably tell, I'm playing with my Hue Phillips light bulbs, and you know, they do some really kind of fun things. They can, of course, you probably can't. Now you can see it. Yeah. Okay. They make lots of little sound effects. I'm using my little Bose SoundLink little Bluetooth speaker in the background. Fills up the whole house with, you know, sounds. It's just great. It's interesting because I think I got this. I've been playing with the Bluetooth speakers for Richard out there. I know he's one of my tech buddies that kind of likes when I do kind of more techie things. But the Bluetooth speakers, I had two of them. I got them. Gosh, I think I got the Bluetooth the Bose SoundLink about 6 years ago. Probably have only used it like 2 or 3 times. Then I just took it with me, and I just never really could figure out how to really set it up, and so the connection wasn't all that great. So anyway, the bottom line was I didn't really use it that much. But you know, being a Bose product, I didn't want to throw it away. So anyway, but lately I've been kind of anticipating the HomePod, the Apple HomePod, which is their kind of their answer, their equivalent to it's getting kind of warm in here. Their answer to the Alexa. Oh my goodness, my hair is pretty much going. It's almost gone now. I'm not a young pup anymore. But so anyway, that's what Alexa is all about. My Walter White hat, which is supposed to have that little kind of thing like that. It's been sitting for more of a kind of a Robert Oppenheimer hat now, which is kind of cool too. Kind of more of a brim down instead of the rolled brim, and I can't get it to roll back up again. So this is just my hat the way it is. I actually use this hat sometimes when it's raining out. But anyway, getting back to the SoundLink, so I started kind of playing with it, especially all the Apple updates to the phone and to the Mac. We had the Mac OS update a couple weeks ago. We had Apple iOS 11 and 11.03 and now 11.1, and even the beta 11.2 is out for all those you who are on that program, that beta program. So anyway, but there are some little tricks as well as treats with some of those updates, as we all know all too well. Filming on my new not the iPhone 10, but I am using the iPhone 8 Plus. And as far as maybe getting the iPhone 10, I don't really know. I'm going to have to wait and see what the other techie guys and gals, what their reviews are. But you know, I'm really happy with my iPhone 7, with, you know, the jet black. I love this thing. I know I just got it a year ago. Put a brand new case on it, and it feels like a brand new phone. Really like it still. It's still my daily driver, as they say. So, you know, I'm not 100% sure. I mean, you know, I think I'm probably going to wait, believe it or not, on the Apple 10, and because I know that it's just got some, you know, it's that first generation thing, and although Apple does a pretty good job of rolling out a first generation product, it's like a shakedown cruise in the Navy. They're going to discover problems with it, and they're going to find ways they can kind of refine it and make it a little bit better. So I'm not really in a big hurry. I don't really need that face recognition and the emoji stuff. Don't really know what I would do with that. And the cameras in the iPhone 8 Plus are great, and it's got the the 11 or whatever it is, the AX 1011 or whatever Bionic, and so it films. I mean, you know, I can film in 4K 60 frames, 4K 24 frames, 4K 30 frames, but the thing is, uploading it to YouTube is kind of a little bit of a waste, I think, right now still. So, I mean, I have the capabilities, and it's not so much now the filming, it's the processing of it. And most of my Apple products are, you know, they're just now catching up with 4K editing. I guess, you know, in the next year or two, when 4K editing becomes a lot quicker and cleaner and nicer, it should be okay. But anyway, I'm not really looking to do an iPhone 10. I just think that there's just too many little unknowns about it, and essentially I've got everything in the iPhone 8 Plus, and I like the form factor. So I'm just not compelled. You know, a lot of times Apple products really compel me. I'll say, well, you know, and a lot of times they're getting into a lot of gimmicky stuff, and I don't want to say that. I know that sounds a little harsh, even being the Apple fanboy that I am, and I freely admit it. But you know, my MacBook Pro that I got, was it last year about this? Yeah, I guess that's the MacBook Pro 13-inch. With the touch bar thing, that was kind of, you know, at first I kind of thought, well, maybe it's starting off as a gimmick, but it's really going to, the one thing I will say, it did help in some editing, because you could spread out your timeline, and I found that to be very helpful, instead of having to go down into the actual timeline and shrink it and expand it, you know, for, you know, final cut, final precise editing, cutting, things like that. So it was kind of handy there, but I haven't really played with it that much. The thing I'm really been working on and playing on is the new Apple iPad 10.5 with the ProMotion, and just trying to learn iOS equivalent programs. If iOS ever got Final Cut Pro, I think I probably would, you know, I would spend the time, because it's a different interface, and I'd spend the time learning Final Cut Pro on the iPad. So that's what I would do. But I don't think, you know, they might. Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen in the next, you know, year or so? I just don't know. So what would be, there's a new YouTuber I discovered named Chubby Mew. Chubby Mew. He's an interesting doctor, but he's more than a doctor. He's a real MD, and he's very fascinating. He's into bodybuilding, he's into gaming, he's into health and fitness, he's into, you know, he's kind of a millennial. He talks about relationships, he talks about philosophy, talks about tech. You know, he's just this Renaissance kind of guy. And I just discovered his videos last week, and the guy is really versatile, and maybe I'll put a link to one of his videos. But again, he has some really interesting content, and you know, when you look at him when he's doing videos about games, I wouldn't say he's a different person, but he just doesn't. I mean, the guy he must be a genius, because he's very versatile. But when he talks about medical issues, and basically what he talks about, he has like 6 videos on people who have done some pretty bad things to their bodies. from cirrhosis of the liver to hyponatremia to deficiencies in potassium deficiencies and things like that. And it's like, wow, it's almost like going to medical school. It's awesome. He really, really lays it out there and explains it so well. Even though he talks kind of fast, but he really explains it so where you actually are following along, going, I'm learning something new here. It's like I'm back in school now, and I'm really learning something, and it's really fascinating. So when he does the doctor thing, it's almost like he's two different people. I mean, you can tell he's the same guy, but he has just a different demeanor when he does these different videos, and there's really entertaining and informative, and but even has a couple on philosophy about, basically he's kind of he talks a lot about trying to develop yourself, not just physically but emotionally, psychologically, and but he has some really interesting insights, and I guess he's originally he was from China, and I guess he grew up a couple of years there, and then his parents immigrated to the United States. And anyway, very interesting guy, very likable persona. Part of it is that he starts off, I guess he's been on YouTube for like 10, 12 years, so he has quite a videography behind him. So you see him kind of as a young 19-year-old. He's like now 30 something. So anyway, you see him when he's the reason why he calls himself Chubby Mew is when he was originally starting out, he was a chunky guy, and then he kind of got into bodybuilding and started slimming down and stuff. And anyway, but he's just a fascinating guy. I mean, I'll put a link to his videos, but he's very, very thought-provoking, a lot like the guy I watch in Scotland, Dom Bauer. But anyway, so I just found this guy, and again, part of my attraction was when he started talking about these medical conditions on these people, and he really gives you really a great background. I mean, I'm interested in that, and sort of like, okay, I'm now I understand some things that I didn't understand before, and it's really I really enjoy it. So maybe I'll share that little YouTuber with you. And maybe you might go check his channel out. Really, really interesting. He probably will do a medical one on the dangers of pipe smoking, and I don't know. Hope not. Well, maybe, I don't know. Oh, my poor lighter's dying. My lighter's dying. The light's going out. Yeah. Unfortunately, I think that's just about all she wrote. Okay. Well, you know what? We have old technology that will work. Hold on. Okay, so old technology known as matches, not 860. And happy Halloween to Matches 860 and all the wonderful YouTubers out there. Technology. Okay. So, I don't know if I really will have a lot of, I was thinking about, what was that? I'm just trying to, I have a couple of topics, but some of them are a little too involved, and I don't really want to go into another 35-minute rant or diatribe here, or dissertation. What are your earliest memories of Halloween? Maybe that might be a good little topic for today. I have some early memories that actually go back when I was a little kid, and I've actually had dreams. I mean, there was nothing like super scary or frightening. It's just, being in the little home the little apartment that I lived in when I was a little kid, many, many years ago in a galaxy far, far away. And every now and then I'll have a dream where I'm back there and it's Halloween night and the shadows are long and things are dark and kind of spooky. And, of course, then there's always the fun part of Halloween, the trick-or-treating. At least it used to be when I was a kid. Getting all that free candy, which obviously it's not a good thing. Kind of think it is at the time, but it really, I mean, if that's all you had once a year, it probably is no big deal. But I just think that sugar and carbohydrates, which I absolutely adore and love, last 2 weeks I've been on a carbohydrate kind of a bend again, even though I've been still doing the TSC challenge. I did do week 8, and now I'm on week 9, and we'll finish this thing up in next week. But so anyway, now I'll have a retrospective on that. But Halloween, Halloween. This might be a little interesting. I actually, this last month, I've had an occasion, two occasions now. One of them happened today, where I connected with somebody from my past, long before I became a padre, long before I entered the seminary, just when I was a kid, young man. And so it was kind of a weird thing because we had the church remodeled and we had some sound stuff done. And as I was reading the name of the guy who is the store owner of the music store, I read his name and I went, I know this guy. We grew up as kids. It had to be the same guy, right? And as I'm reading these names, I was thanking people at this reception we had for our renovation in the hall. Whoa! Whoa. I think I'll keep that in there. I don't know what I was doing, but anyway, there we go. So as I was reading these names of the people who helped in the renovation, all of a sudden I read this one name and it hit me like a ton of bricks. I go, I know this person. I said, this is a personal friend of mine from my earlier childhood. I said, I grew up with this guy. And I just kind of, it was a comment I made in passing, and that was all it was. So today I said, I'm going to give this guy a call. And sure enough, it is the same person that I grew up with, a friend of mine. And it was like, oh my gosh. And what's interesting is that Halloween, we would make his house kind of a haunted house. We put speakers out with spooky sounds, kind of like you're hearing now, and lighting, the special lighting effects. Let's see if I can do some lighting effects here. Lighting effects. And spooky sounds like that, So anyway, sounds like when I step on my cat's paws or something. I do that by accident. So anyway, there you have it, those kinds of things. And it was just kind of nice to talk to him and, say hi again and kind of like, oh, well, I haven't talked to you in probably 25, 30 years. But it was the same person. And, of course, he goes, I wondered what happened to you. And so we're going to get together and have lunch on Thursday. But it was just kind of neat. But I remember very clearly on Halloween, just almost like it was yesterday, that we would take his house. It was kind of more of an older house. And we put speakers all around the bushes and skeletons and ghosts and hands, coming up out of the ground. And, stuff like that. Just like a lot of people do when they decorate for Halloween. And so it was just kind of fun connecting with somebody from my past. And so those are most of the time they can be really, nice things that you kind of, if you have good memories and, never really parted on bad terms. Sometimes most friendships, they separate either because of distance or disagreements. And I remember he lived up here in Chico when I saw him last, like probably 30 years ago. It's got to be at least 30 years. And he was in a music store. I don't know if it was the same one. I'll be visiting him on Thursday, but anyway. So it was just nice to kind of touch bases with an old friend. So anyway, wow. But well, I hope you're having a great Halloween. And I was kind of a couple people said, "Oh, I can't wait for your Halloween video." I don't know why they said that, but I guess in the past I've done little Halloweeny type videos. And so I thought, well, I'll at least make a college try this time to see if I can put something together. So here you go, folks. Happy Halloween, trick or treat, and all that good stuff. So I hope you're having a great day and a great evening. And, soon we'll be, celebrating the big Turkey Day and Christmas and New Year's. And before you know it, it'll be 2018 and start the whole thing all over again. Okay. Well, Holy Smoking Pipe Padre saying, light up your world, light up your pipe, and happy Halloween.